Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Dina, Deleasa, Gonsar, in for Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Mike Favetta. Thanks for joining us. Affinity Federal Credit Union, First Harvard Credit Union, and Edify Credit Union have partnered to launch the New Jersey Credit Union's Food Cooperative, engaging 27 credit unions across the state to support local food pantries. From October 1st through November 8th, participating branches will serve as collection sites for non-perishable food items, addressing the growing hunger crisis in New Jersey. Here to tell us about it is President and CEO of Affinity Federal Credit Union, Kevin Brower. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you here this morning. So New Jersey's food insecurity rate has risen significantly in recent years. How are the New Jersey Credit Union's Food Cooperative addressing the growing hunger crisis in the state?
Yes, it's an issue that New Jersey is certainly experiencing, and 1 in 10 adults are food insecure, and 13% of children are food insecure. So we've come together as a credit union system here in New Jersey to allow a collection process through our branches of all non-perishable food items. So it's an opportunity for us to come together and address a very significant challenge. It's a challenge we hear about from our credit union members on a regular basis as we work with them and counsel them on how to better serve themselves in terms of their financial needs.
So this initiative has brought together 27 credit unions across the state. Can you tell us more how the partnership between these credit unions strengthens efforts to tackle food insecurity and supports the local community?
Yeah, credit unions in and of themselves are cooperatives. And we don't really compete against each other. We're here to, as a core principle, have a system of people helping people. And this is just one of those initiatives that we can come together and better support our communities and address a very significant issue as we move forward. The three of us that put this together then went out and got the other 24 credit unions to join us in this initiative, bringing together a significant amount of opportunity, because each of the branches will then turn over their food donations to the local food pantries in that particular area. So it's an excellent opportunity to show the credit union spirit of people helping people as we move forward.
And what do you hope to achieve through this particular food drive?
Well, at this point, what we're hoping is that the residents and credit union members can participate by donating non-perishable food items at any of our branches of the 27 participating credit unions across the state. That provides over 80 hubs for food collection throughout the state. We'll turn around and we will also obviously take cash if someone doesn't have the opportunity to shop for food in the meantime. So all of these will be turned over to the food banks, either in monetary contribution or actual non-perishables. And that can be done between now and Friday, November 8th.
Now, obviously, community participation is crucial to the success of this initiative. So how can New Jersey residents and credit union members across the state get involved in the food drive?
Well, we encourage them to certainly recognize that this is an opportunity, especially going into the holiday season, for them to give back those that can and help those that are struggling. And we look at this as an opportunity for us to give back, and they can come together and help their own communities. And this is something that I think is needed more and more as we have so many negative things going on around us. But we can't lose sight of the fact that we have local needs that need to be met. So this is an opportunity for all communities to come together to participate in this initiative.
Well, the website is affinityfcu.com. President and CEO of Affinity Federal Credit Union, Kevin Brower, thank you so much for joining us on the New Jersey Morning Show.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to join you.
What a great initiative to get people out. And right before the Thanksgiving season,
Yes,
it's important to make sure those food pantries are stocked.
for sure. And I love how he says there's still local needs and we need to be paying
Yeah,
attention to them.
that's right.
New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew is calling for a federal audit of Atlantic City Electric following significant increases in customer bills. With some reporting their charges have doubled or quadrupled this year. Van Drew has formally requested investigations by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission and the DOJ to determine if ACE's billing practices are lawful and to seek penalties and potential rebates for South Jersey residents who may have been unfairly overcharged.
Yeah, Van Drew accuses ACE of engaging in predatory pricing strategies to exploit its monopoly position in the region. He is urging the FERC to assess whether ACE's utility rates are unjust or unreasonable as allowed under federal law and to mandate refunds for customers affected by the alleged overpricing. It's always a shock, especially now that the summer cooling season is over, to open up the
Yes.
electric bill and go, wow, it really was a hot summer. But I could
Yes,
see how those folks down in Atlantic County could, have the extra pain of seeing those high bills.
for sure. And to hear that they quadrupled,
Yeah,
that's quite the statement.
it is.
Okay, up next, a New Jersey woman celebrates her 30-year anniversary of her life-saving transplant. Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Dina Deleasa Gonsar with Mike Favetta, and joining us now is New Jersey resident Caitlin Schwenzer as she celebrates her 30-year anniversary of her life-saving liver transplant this year. Caitlin celebrated this significant anniversary by participating in New Jersey Sharing Network's 5K Celebration of Life. Now, in light of National Liver Month, she hopes to spread awareness about liver disease and the life-saving power of organ and tissue donation. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You bet, Caitlin. It's great to have you on the New Jersey Morning Show. Can you tell us about your story and what brought you to needing the life-saving surgery?
So, unfortunately, it's etiology unknown. I got sick at the age of 5, and we were vacationing in St. Augustine, Florida, and I started to turn gray. My parents knew that something must have been going on, went to a few, family doctors, and they diagnosed me as iron deficient. But my aunt at the time was working with this other doctor, and he saw my hemoglobin levels and he knew something was completely off. And after further testing, they saw that I was bleeding internally and that I would need a liver transplant. And then I got on the waiting list. I guess I was around 6.5, and then had my transplant right after my 7th birthday, June 3rd, 94.
And what did it feel like when you finally received the call for the transplant? I imagine it was really emotional for your family.
It was. And, when I got sick at 5, I don't really remember too much of it, but I remember that night so vividly. Went to bed normally, and my parents woke me up, and I could see my sister, Jennifer, was not in the room. So I knew that it was time. I remember my dad carrying me down the stairs, and all my aunts and uncles and my grandparents were there, and I just cried. I remember reaching for my one uncle, George, who, I drove with him and my aunt in the car. And I remember being, I guess, carried into the OR. And
Mm.
then not many people understand, but I did wake up through the transplant. I mean, I felt brightness, and somebody put their hand over my eyes, and I then went back to sleep. So I
Wow.
remember, it was quite vivid, and it's still in my head, 30 years later.
Yeah, it's an incredible story to have that memory so many years later. How has life been post-surgery?
Life has been good. There's challenges, there's ups and downs. I struggled in school. I missed so many formative years. So that was difficult, but I got to college, which was fantastic. I went to school in New York at a small fashion school, and I graduated, I got married, and then unfortunately I got sick with Crohn's disease about 6 years ago. But, I take everything in stride. This is life. These are the cards that I was dealt. And, you have to just take it as it is. I'm still a patient at Mount Sinai Hospital where I had my liver transplant. And now my Crohn's doctors are there and they're all fantastic. So I take it for what it's worth. This is my life. I was granted a second chance to live. So, I make the best of what I can and what I have.
That's an amazing perspective, and you've had quite a journey, Caitlin. Why are you so inspired now to support New Jersey Sharing Network and encourage people to register as organ donors?
So, previously I wasn't very involved, but as I got older, and I'm now currently working for a small medical hospital, and they were doing a run, and I'm like, you know what, this is something that means so much to me as I'm getting older and seeing how important it is for people to donate. So I did this 5K. I am not a runner, so I was a little nervous, did very, very well, and I realized how important it is and how a lot of people don't understand the severity of just if you donate one human is being donated, they can save so many other people's lives. And I am truly very grateful for my donor family. I mean, he was a 7-year-old little boy, so he didn't get to live for me to live, and that's something that will stay with me for the rest of my life. And as I've gotten older, I really want people to understand how important organ donation is for others.
That is so important. Organ donation is such a difficult subject sometimes to talk about, but so important because you see just how beneficial it is and how you can spread that life to others. So, Caitlin, tell us, where can we learn more information to get involved?
So I guess go to the Sharing Networks website. You can see when they're having certain races. I know my husband told me they were having a golf tournament this weekend. He's an avid golfer. Unfortunately, he had prior commitments, so he couldn't play on that one. But the sharingnetwork.org will have all that information.
All right, Caitlin Schwenzer, liver transplant recipient and volunteer at the New Jersey Sharing Network. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us on the New Jersey Morning Show.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
That's amazing that she can remember so vividly her surgery and the night of it.
Yeah.
Really amazing. So stay tuned for tips for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Mike Favetta here with Dina, Deleasa, Gonsar in for Cara DeFalco. Dina, New Jersey residents had a rare chance to witness the northern lights this past weekend. The dazzling aurora display typically seen in northern regions became visible due to geomagnetic storms and substorms that created ideal conditions for the phenomenon.
The lights were spotted in various parts of the state, from Sussex County in the north to Cape May County in the south, drawing attention from astronomy enthusiasts and casual observers alike. I have to say, I never get to see them. It's so unfair. And fun fact, I traveled to Iceland to see them, and now they're in my own backyard. And I never catch them.
It's hard to see them. We have a lot of light pollution here in the greater, region, the metropolitan area, whether you're down by Philly or outside of New York City, only because all of the city lights, they just reflect off the sky. So they kind of make the northern lights very difficult to see unless you're really, really far away, like, up toward High Point, New Jersey. So hopefully, yes, I would be able to see them too if you travel to a very dark corner of the Northeast.
Make sure you text me when that's happening, Mike. That's what I'm going to look for. Text me like, sit outside all night long and try to look, and I will.
we get a few days here and there, so hopefully it should be coming up soon. And now with the longer nights, I think we have better chances.
True.
Well, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Fertility doctor, Dr. Jamie Notman, is here to discuss steps with women can take during chemo and radiation to preserve future fertility. Welcome to the show, doctor.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm also going to try and find the lights. You have to come call me when you're looking around, guys.
Will do.
We'll put you on the list for sure. Now, being diagnosed with breast cancer is daunting and scary and all those things, no doubt. With that, also the added worry of what this means for family planning if you're of a certain age. So what options are available to women of reproductive age when they are diagnosed with breast cancer?
Sure, sure. And what you said is exactly true, right? You get you're hit by a wave, you are told you have cancer, and now you're told that potentially your fertility will be taken away from you, your chance of having a family. And so we've made a lot of advancements in medicine. And in the land of fertility, we can freeze eggs or freeze embryos, which can allow an individual who's diagnosed with cancer and desires to maintain their fertility the option or the opportunity to do so.
So what is the first step someone should take if they are diagnosed and want to freeze their eggs?
Yeah, so the good news is many oncologists, or the majority of oncologists, greater than 50%, now will discuss fertility preservation with young cancer patients. However, if you're not told about it, you want to ask about it. And you want to find a local fertility clinic that can help you in this process. And that way we can kick off the process of freezing eggs or embryos around the time of the diagnosis so that we don't delay treatment.
Now, what can you do if you do not have breast cancer but have been diagnosed as a carrier of a genetic mutation? Can you explain that a little bit further for some of us who don't know?
Yeah, so we can do a lot of amazing things in the land of fertility. One of them is that we can test embryos or screen embryos for genetic mutations. So we frequently see women or couples come in where the male partner is a carrier of what's called BRCA, the breast cancer mutation, so BRCA1 or BRCA2, and we can genetically test the embryo so that we know the embryo doesn't carry the BRCA mutation before transferring the embryo back into the uterus.
Wow, so science has really come a long way. Where can we learn more information about this?
So, there's a lot of great resources out there. The fertility land we have a governing body called the American Society of Reproductive Medicine, and they're super helpful. There's also an organization called Resolve that has a lot of data. Personally, I serve as the chief medical officer of an organization called Chick Mission, where we provide grants for women to freeze eggs ahead of cancer treatment. So we're a wealth of resources. And we really want to make this treatment or this opportunity accessible to all women, right? So we want you to know about it, and we want to help you do it if you want to.
All right, Dr. Jamie Knopman of CCRM Fertility. The website is ccrmivf.com. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the New Jersey Morning Show.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.
You too. So a lot of advancements there, especially now that the information and what doctors know about fertility is coming to light when regarding cancer treatment, and that's important with Breast Cancer Awareness Month being in October.
For sure. Glad to see these new developments coming to light and becoming more accessible to those who are suffering through this. Now, coming up, a brand new musical drama is coming to New Jersey. Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Dina Deleasa Gonsar with Mike Favetta. The Council on Compulsive Gambling of New Jersey recently held a town hall to discuss the growing link between gaming and gambling among young people. ONNJ's Executive Director, Felicia Grondin, highlighted how many young individuals are drawn to gaming apps that resemble online betting platforms, which often leads them to engage in gambling.
Yeah, the town hall also focused on the rising trend of gambling among young adults, with 54% of calls to the 1-800-GAMBLER helpline now coming from individuals under 34. That's a first in the organization's history. Additionally, 100% of the helpline calls from those aged 25 and younger are from men. That's a reflection of the impact of sports betting on young males who are seen as risk takers and highly engaged with technology. That's something pretty scary, since you see a lot lot of ads, especially on, the big football games and the baseball games,
Yeah.
about how sports betting is kind of targeted toward that demographic.
Yeah, and you could see how it can start young because it looks like video games or computer
Yeah,
games or apps, and it's just not setting themselves up for a good financial success pattern moving forward.
yeah, that's right.
Now we have a New Jersey native and Rutgers University grad, Orrin Evans, a Grammy-nominated pianist and composer, is debuting his one-night-only musical drama about author and activist Frederick Douglass, which premieres on November 2nd. Orrin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great to have you with us. So, Aaron, tell us about this show and what inspired you to create it.
Well, actually, I'm working along with Anthony Knight, the writer of the piece, and I was commissioned to do the arrangement, the musical arranging, and I'm really excited about this piece because I come from a theater background. You mentioned Rutgers. My father taught theater at Rutgers before I went there, and my mother was an opera singer. So putting this piece together, along with the beautiful story of Frederick Douglass, is just a dream come true that I didn't know I ever dreamt about, but it connects me back to my history with both my parents. And I'm really excited that Hudson Hall and Anthony Knight asked me to be involved in this.
So, can you give us a little bit more of an insight into who Frederick Douglass is and what inspires you regarding him?
Well, actually, the piece was inspired by a record that Anthony Knight was listening to of Opera North, which was a black opera company, and that my mother was actually a member of, and he was listening to Spirituals, the record that that Opera North put together, all the spirituals, and from Balm and Gilead to I'm a Running, and so many great spirituals, and it inspired him to write this piece and then bring me in to add the music and accompany these opera singers. So it's really just in the way that I look at it, is as if Frederick Douglass had a CD player in his house, and this is the music in the background. We know Frederick Douglass didn't have a CD player, but had a CD player. Music in the background is this beautiful spirituals, and what inspired him in the conversations that he's having with himself, actually. And as a son of a writer, I'm really identified with that because my father would be writing and I'd walk in the room like, who are you talking to? And realize he was talking to himself, talking about the characters he was creating. So this is really just a day in the life of Frederick Douglass with the music that possibly would have accompanied him if he had a CD player.
So, Aaron, you talk about those traditional spirituals kind of interweaving with Douglass's words. Which songs were selected and why?
Well, there's 9 different spirituals, and they're all from that record that Anthony was listening to while composing the monologues for Frederick Douglass. So I can tell you some of them. I'm a Rollin'. There's a Balm in Gilead. There's a bunch more. Just all. I'm going blank on the names of all the spirituals that I should know, but it's a collection of 9 spirituals that all of you will know, because if you listen to any of the spirituals growing up, and it's just some beautiful pieces. And these singers, this is going to be my first time meeting them. Actually, I've never met except on a Zoom call. So that first rehearsal, we're going to get together and go through all of these beautiful pieces.
So, Orrin, how do you think audience members will react to this show? What are you hoping they will feel as they're listening?
I'm hoping they feel, I have a weird, maybe it's not so weird, but I have a weird thing of wanting to go into a time machine, maybe like Back to the Future, and just see, what was happening back there. I do it on my own block. I'm like, what was this block like 40 years ago? So if we do this correctly, everyone in that audience will feel like they have been transported back into the 1818, when Frederick Douglass was here, and transformed from the set, from the music, from the monologue, from the costumes, everything. I just hope that everybody gets in the time machine and has a good time.
It sounds like a lot of fun. So if somebody wants to go, where can we learn more info and get tickets?
You can get tickets. You can go to hudsonhall.com, and everything is on there. This premieres November 2nd. Hudson Hall is a great organization. I perform there as a musician several times, but never like this, never with so many other elements like theater and singing and the costumes and all of that. So I've never done it, but you can go to HudsonHall.com and check it out. We're going to have a good time.
All right, pianist and composer Orrin Evans, thank you so much for coming here on the New Jersey Morning Show. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That sounds like such a fun night.
It does. It does. And I love how it's mixing music with spoken word. It sounds like a good time. So if you need somewhere to eat, maybe before or after the show, we have a great new restaurant joining us next. Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Dina Deleasa Gonsar with Mike Favetta. Great news. Hobby Lobby is set to open a new 55,000 square foot store that I need to visit at the Freehold Mall in Monmouth County. The arts and crafts retailer will be part of the mall's revitalization.
Well, the store, when Dina goes, will be situated next to Burlington, so make sure you park there, which will be previously occupied part of the space, and it will be the 17th Hobby Lobby location in the state, just in time for Halloween.
Oh my goodness. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'm going to spend all my money there. Also, I know, and after, I'm going to work up an appetite. So our next guest is from May's Cocina and Cocktails, a new Mexican fusion restaurant, which is about to open in Westfield, New Jersey on October 15th. And we're here to chat with chef and co-owner Jessa Henneberry. We're going to talk to her all about it. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so excited to hear about the new Cocina. So tell us a bit about more of this labor of love, where you transformed a historic train station into a new Mexican restaurant.
Oh yeah, it's been such a project full of passion for sure. It took us about 2 years to renovate the historic train station, and it's a historic landmark, so there were a lot of hiccups along the way. We needed to make sure that we treated this building with complete delicacy to bring it back to life and really honor its history, and also create a new vision for the restaurant and the space itself. So we are super excited to have our grand opening on October 15th.
That sounds like a really cool space. Now I'm making my list. So what are the must orders on your menu that guests shouldn't miss when they visit?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I love everything about this menu. It's a true passion of mine to make fusion food, especially with Mexican flavor profiles. So if you're looking for something a little bit more elevated, it's not your typical run-of-the-mill Mexican food. It's definitely not burritos and fajitas. We're trying to expand the boundaries of Mexican. So we're playing with a lot of new interpretations, if you will. I think the standouts are definitely the octopus al pastor. It's a completely sexy dish. It's got a pineapple puree and pineapple pico de gallo, so it's a great way to start your meal.
Ooh.
We've got buttermilk mole roasted chicken with roasted plantains and enchilada beans. That's a great entree. And then my personal favorite, is our steak frites, which is a play on classic French steak with French fries, but we're doing them with masa fries, which is a whole new way to have them. I think that everyone's kind of addicted to them once they try it.
Jessa, you're killing us. That menu sounds incredible. Lots of mouthwatering entrees. So you've had an amazing culinary career in culinary consulting and as a private chef. How have those experiences shaped the menu and the vision at May's Cocina and Cocktails?
Oh gosh, I think that my background as a consultant has really been able to expose me to a lot of cuisines, which is where the inspiration for this menu comes from. So I've had the opportunity to work with people with very different dietary backgrounds, very different culinary and food preferences, as well as working on multiple projects that have very different brand perspectives. So I've gotten the chance to play with a lot of different foods throughout my career, and this is kind of the culmination of a lot of those experiences, and we're just putting it into a new vision here.
Well, now you guys are opening just in time for the Halloween season. What's in store in the area, and will you be celebrating?
Oh my gosh, Westfield is known for Adams Fest. So it's a local community festival that everyone celebrates the Adams family, which is, the creator is from Westfield, New Jersey. So it's a big deal here. There's something going on every night of the week. So we plan on offering a special cocktail that honors the Adams family and the Bewitched theme of this year's Adams Fest, as well as a special appetizer. It's to be determined still. We're going to try to surprise people.
And obviously, with the deep Mexican roots surrounding the restaurant, are you having anything special for Dia de los Muertos?
I think that everything that we have is special on the menu. We haven't quite thought that far ahead. As much as we are just getting to our grand opening, we're just trying to make sure that everyone gets to try the menu. We're introducing new menu items every single day, and we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to try all of the things on the menu. And we're going to introduce new cocktails as well. So we're trying to make it a special day and introduce new things each and every day as we get ourselves up and running.
Well, I'm sure you'll see all of those amazing photos on the Instagram, maze_Westfield, and the website is mazewestfield.com. Yeza Henenberry, thank you so much for joining us here on the New Jersey Morning Show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that is on my list.
Oh my goodness, the octopus and the chicken and all of the accoutrements that go with it. That sounds incredible.
It does. And this is right around lunchtime for us, Mike. I don't know about you, but for me, so I'm going to struggle. I'm going to struggle until the end of the show. Well, moving on, the Cardiology Associates of Morristown hosted their Noble 90s event. Find out more next. Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. We have a heartwarming story about celebrating life, health, and longevity. The Cardiology Associates of Morristown hosted their Noble 90s event, honoring more than 100 patients who are 90 years or older. We are joined today in studio by two special guests, Dr. David Freilich, a cardiologist at Cardiology Associates of Morristown, and one of his patients, Hubert Hugh Hook, who's 96 years young. Welcome, both of you. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Freilich, let's start with you. The Noble 90s event sounds like a wonderful celebration. So tell us more about it and why it's so important to your practice.
So we're cardiologists, and people are living longer and healthier lives due to many of the things we do in cardiology. But the origin for the concept came to me when my mother was about 1 month away from her 90th birthday. So I asked my office manager to tabulate the number of patients who were 90 and above at that point, and I was surprised. It was 350 patients.
Wow.
So this was back in 2018. And so we did it in 2018. We had this celebration in 2019, but then the pandemic occurred in 2020, so we couldn't do it any longer. We had a hiatus of 4 years, and then we just did it again for the first time in 4 years. And now we're up to 500 patients in our practice who are over age 90, and that's a reflection of some of the work we're doing, but also a reflection of improved longevity in general. You see people living longer and longer. I mean, you take a look at Mel Brooks, he's 98,
right?
We're
big Mel Brooks fans in our house.
Various people are living productive lives in their late 90s.
Yes, for sure. And Hugh, I see that you had a reaction to that, to the number of 500 people.
It's astonishing, yes.
It certainly is. And it must be inspiring to be part of such a vibrant community of seniors. So Hugh, you were one of the participants in this event, correct? And can you tell us what it means to you to be able to celebrate in this way?
Well, I have to tell you, one of the most important things is not to think about your age. I don't dwell on it. I don't, only when I'm asked by someone like you what it feels like to be 96 do I wonder about it. But otherwise, I don't think about it at all.
Right, age is only a number, and it's
Yeah,
more how you feel.
And, you know, you got to be like a dog. A dog doesn't know how old it is. It just
I like that.
keeps doing stuff until it falls over. And
you've got to be like a dog. Just go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dr. Freilich, what do you think has contributed to the success of patients like you and all the others that you honor at these events?
Well, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, apparently.
I like this theme.
So there are many things that are evolving in cardiology and in society. So I think engagement is very important for people to remain socially connected and socially engaged.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I mentioned
absolutely.
my mother. My mother will be 96 next month.
Wonderful.
And she's the most sociable person, as you can attest to. So, you know, social connection is very important. Resilience is very important in terms of being able to adapt, and I think that's part of what you was talking about, not dwelling on the negatives and just focusing on the positives. And there are all these, you know, risk factors for aging and heart disease, like blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. We have fantastic medicines that didn't exist in the past, and they have fewer and fewer side effects and do contribute to longevity. And then we also have procedures that people can get that are less invasive, specifically in cardiology. So pacemakers, the first pacemakers in the 1960s, you had to carry around a battery pack
Huge.
in a shopping cart.
Wow.
And now the pacemaker is that big and it lasts for 8 or 9 years. So there's been amazing technological improvements. We can now replace people's valves instead of opening their chest, having a very invasive procedure.
Wow.
It can be done through the groin. And instead of open heart surgery, we can do stents through the groin. So you can be in and out in a day if all goes well, as opposed to being in the hospital in the old days for a week or a month. So there's improved technology, less invasive technology, better medications, and not smoking, I think, is obviously critical, and then keeping active and keeping engaged.
Well, it's so great to hear about all the different advances we've made. We no longer have to carry around a pacemaker in a shopping cart. I know we all have people in our lives who have come up against cardiac issues at one point or another. But besides just acting like a dog and not knowing your age, Hugh, what are some other concrete steps you've taken over your lifetime to ensure that you're staying healthy and active?
Well, I think I thought about it the other day, and I think you can sum it up in 3 words: motion, commotion, and emotion. By motion, I mean you've got to keep moving. I grew up in the Bahamas, and we have a saying there: you've got to be like a shark. A shark has to keep moving even when it's sleeping because it has no gills like a normal fish, and if it stops, it dies. So you've got to keep moving. And the second thing is commotion. And commotion means play sports, get excited, raise hell, do
I like
stuff.
that.
and you know, and the third is emotions. Get mad at things, write letters to the editor.
Oh, I'm super good like that. I'm going to live forever.
And fall in love.
I'm seeing where you're going with this. You got to not only keep yourself in motion physically, but mentally and spiritually,
too.
Just keep it going.
And what Dr. Freilich raised earlier, I think is the most important thing of all, and that is maintain a active social life with friends and family, and that is, I think, one of the key aspects of living a decent old life. I mean, there's no point growing very, very old just to breathe in and out one more day.
Exactly.
You've got to enjoy it, and having friends. I'm blessed with having good, nice groups of friends, both in Nassau and here.
That's wonderful.
And a family, and that's important, very important.
And it seems we're talking a lot about those social relationships. And Dr. Freilich, how does the doctor-patient relationship factor into your approach at the Cardiology Associates of Morristown?
We try to treat our patients as if they're part of our own family, really. It's trite to say that, but I would never give, people ask me sometimes, what would you do if I give them advice to, let's say, have surgery or have a stent? What would you do if it was your family member? And the answer is, I do exactly what I'm doing, because we see our patients as members of our family. We have an obligation professionally, but we've had long-term relationships. I took care of his wife, who passed away about 15 years ago, and we've had a long-term relationship. And you develop a relationship over years. And I'm 66, but I don't want to retire anytime soon because I'm invested in the relationships I have with my patients, and it's great. And even the younger people in our practice, I think we all share the same philosophy, and that's one of the things that makes it work.
I think that's a wonderful philosophy. Dr. Freilich, thank you for all of the work you're doing with the Morristown Cardiology Associates. And we have loved talking to you this morning as well, Hugh, and giving us so many great pointers. You are a wealth of knowledge, no doubt. And we are grateful you were both with us this morning to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dina, that was such a heartwarming interview.
It really was. And it's so great to see the advancements we've made in terms of cardiac health. I mean, look, Hugh is sitting here. He's 96 years old. And what a treasure to be able to hear about his journey and all of his little tidbits of wisdom and knowledge. It's definitely something to treasure, for sure.
It is. And I love to see that they're right here, in our state, neighbors in the community, to see that local connection is something really special.
For sure.
Well, New Jersey will observe Columbus Day on October 14th, 2024, and many state offices and schools are closed in honor of the holiday. Despite other states choosing to rename the holiday as Indigenous Peoples Day or it's stopping its observance entirely, New Jersey continues to celebrate Columbus Day. Key services like the U.S. Postal Service and New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission will be closed, but some schools might remain open, so it's recommended to check individual school schedules.
The state maintains its Columbus Day celebration as a nod to its large Italian-American community. However, controversy around his treatment of Indigenous people has led some regions to reframe the holiday. New Jersey, led by statements from Governor Phil Murphy, views the day as a celebration of the contributions Italian-Americans have made to the state.
And considering how there are many Italian Americans even on this show and a part of, our community here,
I know.
We celebrate that. And it's nice to see the celebration of the contributions to our culture here in New Jersey.
It is. And I believe that some of us will be at the parade in Morris County this weekend. So that will be
amazing weather for that parade. So looking forward to that.
Looking forward to that for sure. And the food trucks. Don't forget about the food trucks. Well, that does it for us today on the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Dina Deleasa Gonsar in for Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Mike Favetta. Stay tuned for more news, weather, and talk coming up next.